Gear up, scooter fam. So today I'm going to do a video on 4 scooters. These are my favorite scooters under 100 pounds. So I've picked the Klima, the Solar FF Lite, the Apollo Pro, and the Roadrunner RS5 Max to compare and take a look. These are all really nice scooters, and they weigh less than 100 pounds, so you get the performance without the without the heaviness of the scooter, so to speak, the heavy weight. All right, more portability and performance at the same time, rather. Okay. All right, so before we get started, I got a few things to address. As usual, first one is I just got a report from a viewer, a comment talking about their had a negative experience with the Z4 from T-Wing, and then a negative experience with their customer service trying to deal with the problems that they had. They had some turn signal problems and then some display problems, and they've had trouble getting T-Wing customer service to be very helpful. So that's the first negative sort of feedback that I've heard about T-Wing. Everything else I've heard is it's been pretty, really good actually, as far as the scooter working and whatnot. But that being said, it's a new company, and we really haven't had time to, to find out how these things are going to be when they pop up, how they're going to, the types of issues that are going to go wrong. And then how they handle it when they do go wrong. So I just want to update you on that. That is the first ding that I've heard on T-Wing. It wouldn't necessarily mean that I'd say I'm never going to buy a T-Wing, but I'll be honest, I'll probably be a little more hesitant in the beginning until we kind of watch and see how some of these things shake out over time. And if they go a good direction, fine. But right now, that's it's not a good look. One little ding isn't the end of the world, but considering that they didn't follow up on the customer service, they've had said, I had problems with my turn signals and display, and they got but they fixed it. That's another issue. But dodging, trying to fix stuff that goes wrong is just it's not good. Own up and fix your stuff and support your products, everybody. All right. Another thing I just noticed, I did update that the Yumi Predator had went up $100, and now it is saying it's out of stock. So the Yumi Predator is out of stock. I find that kind of interesting. Right after going up a price, it goes out of stock, which is I wouldn't expect. All right. And then real quick before I get into the scooters and going over them, I wanted to kind of talk about my accessories that I've done with the Klima so far. I don't know if I've really done a section on that, but just in case I haven't, this is the bag that I use. I've strapped to it. Like I said, it's to carry extra things. I like to. I've went out to some drive through a couple times, and I like to use my scooter to go through there, and it's kind of difficult. I got everything in my backpack, so when I'm sitting on the scooter and got my backpack on, it's kind of hard for me to carry all the stuff. So I got this because I can just pull right up, grab the stuff from the window, stick it in here, and then drive. If I gotta adjust it or whatever, I can do that, but I've got somewhere to put it for the meanwhile. And so I just put it right here in this little bag and then pull off to a parking spot, get everything situated, and head on home. But yeah, it's just fun. I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff. So I got this bag and kind of strapped it down pretty good, so that it's really tight. It doesn't shake around too much. I got a bunch of zip ties holding together, plus the straps that come with it to attach. So between all the zip ties and the straps, it really doesn't give very much. Of course, I've got these little partial extender things, which I really like these as opposed to trying to get one. I mean, I think they have one that comes up higher or something, but originally I got this for the Journey Max for the same reason. I was trying to get more stuff on the um, cockpit, and so I got some mirrors, but I ended up using the bar end mirrors for those, so I didn't really need these for the Journey Max. Um, but I had them around, and so I decided to use them for the Klima, and turns out they work great for the rear view mirrors, and then also this was over on this side. There was really not much room to use it. I've seen someone put it on top there, but I don't necessarily like that because I kind of tilt this upward at just a barely an angle, so that I can tell whether it's on. It was tilted down at first, or rather straight, and when I was riding, I was having to lean back to sort of look and see if it was still on. So I just want to be able to glance down real quick and be able to see these lights on here. I think I can see it on the display too, but it's just habit if I push it, to look back there and see if I left it on. So I tilted it slightly upward so that I can just glance down and see those lights very easily. So I like this setup a lot. I can reach this with my thumb, and I can reach this with my thumb. It's very rare that I'll actually use this, but it could come into play at some point. So I got these, and like I said, I put this over here. I went ahead and put the NFC reader up top. That makes sense since I'm just, usually reaching up there tapping or something like that. And then I got these rubber grips for my brakes, for my brake levers. And so not too big of a deal. It's just a tad bit nicer when you're squeezing on the metal. I got them for my once again I got them for my Journey Max, but the Journey Max has kind of a grip on it already, and so I never went to the trouble of putting these on. Just kind of sat around. So I was like, well, I don't know if I really want to put them on. And so with these though, they're just metal. They're just straight metal, and so I felt like these are kind of a little bit made for this kind of stuff where you don't get a nice grip on it, and so forth. So I put these little rubber deals on the end here. And then one other thing real quick you might have seen. So I got this ring, and this ring is I'm only wearing right now. I don't wear this all around everywhere, but it's an NFC ring. And so yeah, I think I told y'all that I really like the NFC chip reader, and so I got this ring on Amazon for about $30. And $30, considering I could use an old credit card in my wallet, which I did. $30 seems like a lot to just pay to be able to do it, but I gotta tell you, this is even way better than the credit card thing, because I don't have to have it on a keychain. I don't have to have it somewhere. I don't have to have it in my wallet. I don't have to get my wallet out to turn. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It was kind of easy just to do. But this is even easier, and it works with the gloves on. I ride with gloves, and I wanted to try it, so I put it on. I put my gloves on, and I just touch it when I'm riding and go on. So this is for me. It's worth $30. It's like a ceramic NFC ring. It's a little big, but I put some. I mean, it's on the middle finger there as opposed to the ring finger, which I gave him my size. But it just came out a little big, so I put it on the middle finger, and I had to put a little bit of tape on the inside. You can't really hardly see, but there's tape in there, and it just holds it securely on my finger. But it works perfectly, like I said, with the gloves on and everything. It's perfect. It just stays on my finger while I'm out riding the scooter. When I get back, I put it up and so forth, but I put it on for the video. All right, guys, so let's get into the scooter comparison. Once again, we're looking at the Solar FF Lite, the Roadrunner RS5 Max, the Apollo Pro, and the Nami Klima. I'm just going to judge it by the Klima that I own, given the stats and so forth, just because, which is the 25 amp hour. It's a better deal, and you're just giving up a little bit of range, and the LG batteries, which may have some benefit to having down the road. And I may actually upgrade that battery just for peace of mind, but I don't have a problem with the battery that I have right now. And if I never upgrade it, I mean, that's fine with me. But yeah, it would be nice to prolong the life of my scooter if I had an extra battery around. Because I know I'm not gonna have to worry about it later. Battery is gonna be the biggest thing that I ever had to buy this scooter. Costs almost as much as the scooter, unless you have a deal like I said from like Fluid, where you get 50% off parts for the life of the scooter. Which, if you can get a battery, can be quite a long time. All right, the FF Lite is $18.99, but it also has a 12% off coupon on their site that you can use as well. The RS5 Max is $21.99. The Apollo Pro is $31.99. And the Nami Klima, it's out of stock, but the 25 amp hour is $19.99. That's the price they have on. I don't know what it'll be when they put it back into stock, but I'm assuming it'll be that's what it was right before it went off of stock, before it went out of stock. So I expect maybe it will go back to $19.99. The FF Lite, the range tested is about 36 miles. Considering the speed, you may get more than that if you don't top out speed all the time. The RS Max, the range is about 32 miles. What I see on the FF Lite. So for the FF Lite, the range is about 36 miles. The RS Max is about 32 miles. And the Apollo Pro is also about 32 miles. So for the Klima, I've gotten 50 miles out of it in good weather, 40 miles in cold weather. So that's on a normal, just driving around like I normally drive around. And, to be honest, I'm also, naturally kind of riding faster than I normally would. Just because I'm getting used to the scooter, I guess. I'm just kind of glancing down. I mean, it happened with the Hover Max's, Journey Max as well. When I was, at first when I got it, I, probably wasn't going maybe 15. I was really, didn't feel comfortable. And, going to the Klima wasn't like I just, picked up right where I left off either. It took me a while to even get back up to where I was comfortable going like 20 miles an hour on the Klima, just because, I wasn't used to the scooter all the way. Now I'm kind of glancing down, going like 24, 25 sometimes without even realizing it. So, yeah, it's just, it's natural. It's natural progression. I'll probably have to upgrade my gear because I said once I kind of caught myself doing that on the Klima that I'd upgrade my gear. So that's coming. 0 to 15, these are all very close, right around 2 or just a little above 2 seconds per 0 to 15. For the weight, the FF Lite is 92 pounds. The RS5 Max is 88 pounds. The Apollo Pro is 96 pounds. And the Klima is about 84 pounds. The max weight of the Solar FF Lite is 330. The RS5 Max also 330, as well as the Apollo Pro. The Klima is 265, being the lowest out of the four. Yeah, all others are 330. The motor power of the FF Lite is 3200 watt, which is two 1600 watt motors. The RS5 Max is 2000, along with the Apollo Pro and the Nami. All are dual 1000 watt motors. The RS5 Max has the largest battery, followed behind the FF Lite, the Apollo Pro, and then the Klima. 25 amp hour has the smallest battery. Of course, the larger one kind of bumps that up a little bit. For the voltage, the FF Lite is 60 volt, as well as the Klima is a 60 volt. And the RS5 Max and the Apollo Pro are both 52 volts. The Apollo Pro has a thumb throttle. All of the other three have a paddle throttle. They all have dual suspension, with the Apollo Pro having rubber in the rear and all the others having dual hydraulic. The Apollo Pro has dual drum brakes and regen brakes, and the others have dual hydraulic brakes. The FF Lite has 10-inch tires, as does the RS5 Max and the Klima. The Apollo Pro has 12-inch tires. They're all tubeless, with the FF Lite and the Apollo Pro having sealant. As far as IP ratings, the FF Lite and the RS5 Max both have IP54 ratings, so 4 for the water. And then the Apollo Pro has an IP66 rating, which is the highest of the bunch. And then the Nami Klima having IP55 rating in the middle there. So for a UL listing, the Apollo Pro is UL listed, and the other scooters are not UL listed at all, including the Klima. All right. So, all right, let me think here. Let me just kind of glance at them real quick. I think my number one choice is probably going to be the Klima. I'll go ahead and spoiler alert on that. It's my scooter. I picked it. I've had some issues with it, but I don't hate the scooter. And these others, they're really nice, but the Klima probably, bang for the buck. Everything you get with it, speed, comfortability, acceleration. It's the highest of the bunch in acceleration. And these are all 40 plus miles an hour scooters, so they all compete pretty well in that regard. The range is probably pretty comparable between them all as well, considering their speeds and where they fall. Should be pretty good on all those. We got the 260 volts, so the FF Lite and the Klima both are 60 volts. IP is decent on the two. They're the lowest on the FF Lite and the RS5 Max, and the highest on IP66 on the Pro. So, Klima being my number one. I'm gonna go with the FF Lite for number two. It's got 60 volts battery. The range is fine. Like I said, top speed is actually right up there. Towards the top of these scooters. Not bad. Like I said, it's got the 60 volts. Got a paddle throttle. Dual hydraulic suspension, dual hydraulic brakes, tubeless Swiss sealant. It's got the IP54 and no UL listing. But what I like about it is it's a really good deal right now. $18.99 plus you get the 12% off with BF12. And man, you can't beat that. So I happen to like that price for the FF Lite a lot, and considering what it's bringing to the table, putting side by side with these scooters, then it definitely wins. Number two spot behind the Klima. On the next one, I'm gonna have to go with the RS5 Max, and that is mainly because of the price. I could have chosen a different Apollo to put in here. I could have put the V4X in here. I looked at it so many times, and the biggest thing here for me is that the Apollo Pro is the third fastest of the scooters. It's a tad faster than the Klima, but $3,200. And it's just so difficult for me to want to spend $3,200 on a scooter that, doesn't do that much more. And it's slower from 0 to 15 than the Klima. So the acceleration on the Klima is better. But it just has like a mile or so faster top speed per hour. So the Pro is going to be last on my list, just because of the money it costs. I mean, I'm sure it's a nice scooter. Maybe it didn't really deserve to be put in here, but the truth is it's 52 volts, which is even as high as the others as well. It does have a UL listing. It does have 12-inch tires, which is okay, but it's not necessarily spectacular because they're 12 inches. So I mean, I like it, but not gonna pay that much more for it because of that. So there are my picks. All these are good scooters. The Apollo Pro I thought was really interesting at $3,000. But man, when I'm sitting here looking at them next to each other, and I didn't do this before, I just kind of picked the ones that came into that fit. And I thought the Apollo Pro looked pretty good and I was sort of curious how it would stack up against these others. So it is a little bit about the money, but even if these were the same price, it just it's just okay. It's just okay. Like it's fine, but because of the price difference, it just takes a step down. The rest are like right at $2,000, and I don't want to sell the Apollo Pro at $2,000, but the specs kind of lean that way. It's not a 100-pound scooter, which is fine. I mean, I like the fact that it's not 100 pounds, but if you're gonna charge $3,000 for a scooter and you can fit all of that performance in a scooter that weighs under 100 pounds, okay, but you're gonna want to go like 50, 60 miles an hour. If you can do that under 100 pounds, that's awesome. And so those are just some reasons that I picked what I did. Do I hate the Apollo Pro? No. I do think it's a tad expensive for what you get, and I understand the quality, build quality, all that stuff, but I'm not comparing them to BS scooters. I'm not comparing the Apollo Pro to the Hover One Journey Max. I'm comparing it to the Klima, the Roadrunner RS5 Max, the Solar FF Lite. These are quality scooters. Certainly the Klima. I mean, I'm not comparing them to just BS, right? I'm comparing them to other also high quality build, high build quality scooters. I'm not just throwing junk out there and saying, well, you can get a better deal. These are all great scooters. They all ride nice. They all have a build quality to them, and otherwise, I would say so. So, I think they're all worthy of saying that these scooters are good build quality on an equal level. So, for someone to say that that's why you can charge $3,200 is because of the build quality, I'll say that's okay. Okay, sure. I mean, whatever. But the thing is that I can get a cheaper scooter that'll do the same thing, give me just as many miles, give me just as much top speed, maybe a little more. 0 to 15 is faster. I don't know what else we're talking about. I mean, it's got IP66 and you can play your music. I don't care. I'm not gonna play my music anyway. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this content, you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Consider joining my Patreon, buying me a coffee, or picking up some merch. Thanks, and happy riding.